Greetings for the day. Welcome to another session of computer networks. My name is Mohammed Rahmat Ali. In today's session, we're going to learn about the cryptography. What actually is cryptography and what are the different mechanisms of cryptography. Now, before jumping into the topic, let me revise what are the things that we have studied in the previous session. We studied about network security and also the different types of network security involved. Now, in today's session, we are going to study about the cryptography, the mechanisms of cryptography, what actually is cryptography, and how cryptography is being implemented in this real world, and what are the uses of this cryptography. Now, what it says, cryptography is a method of protecting information and communication through the use of codes. In the sense, like, see, I'm speaking to you in English, and you are listening to it and you are able to understand it. Okay, now understand the thing that I want to deliver it to you. Now, as I'm speaking in English, you are listening to it and you are able to understand how this process is being done. In, like, when I'm speaking, I'm framing some of the sentences from my brain and I'm speaking with reference to my mouth. Now I'm generating some of the codes. I'm generating some of the codes in the form of words, in the form of voice, that you are listening, and in your brain there is some dictionary which is decoding that particular thing, which is decoding that particular thing into with using the grammar and decoding it, and you are able to understand that particular thing. This particular thing is called as cryptography. Now, as it is English, you are able to understand it. Now, if I start speaking in Tamil, or if I start speaking in Telugu, or if I start speaking in Marathi, the same thing what I am speaking now, you will not be able to understand anything. Why? But because you don't have that particular grammar in your brain, you cannot understand that particular information. Why? Because for that particular thing you are not being taught. For that particular thing there is no grammar with reference to it. Now, consider that grammar as key. Consider that grammar as key, and what are the things that I am saying? Consider that as a plain text or a ciphertext. Plain text or a ciphertext. Now, what this is plain text and ciphertext is all about? Plain text is a message which is understandable to everyone, and a ciphertext is a encoded message. A ciphertext is an encoded message along with a key. That key will help you to encrypt or decrypt that particular data. If at all a condition is there in which I'll tell you, like, I'll send you a text message and I'll tell you that after every 4 word there is a dummy word. After every 4 word there is a dummy word. Just strike that dummy word, you can read that particular sentence. So the dummy word that I am putting there, that is what you call as encrypted data. And after you strike those dummy words, the thing that you get is the decrypted data. It is a decrypted data. Now, how I encrypted it? I encrypted it through a mechanism called, like, after every 4 word I am placing a dummy word. This is my mechanism. And how did you decrypt it? You decrypted it by removing that dummy words after every of the 4 letters. After every of the 4 letters, you remove that particular character and you got a sentence. This process of thing is called as cryptography. This process or this mechanism of converting a plain text into a ciphertext and decrypting a ciphertext into a plain text using a key is called as cryptography. Now we'll read the sentence again so that you can understand it in a better way. Now what it says, cryptography is a method of protecting information and communication through the use of codes. through the use of codes. Now what it does, so that only those for whom the information is intended can read the process and read and processes. Those particular users to whom you are sending that particular information can decode it through the mechanism that I told. What is that mechanism? That mechanism is called as a key. That mechanism is called as a key in terms of cryptography or in terms of security. That particular thing is called as a key. Now what it says, the prefix crypt, crypt means hidden or vault, and suffix graphy stands for writing. So as a whole, what it says, a writing in which is hidden, or there is some hidden message with reference to that particular thing. And also, if at all, if you remember, if you send any of the email and that particular email bounces back, so in that email, if at all, if you see, there are some of the star marks, percentage, q, as something or other thing which has been written over there. What that particular thing is, that particular thing is a cryptographic text, or it is a cipher text which is being bounced back to you. It means when an email is been sent, I told you this particular thing in the chapter of email, how the email has been sent, and how the email has been sent, and how the email has been received. Now I'll remind you with reference to that. With reference to when the email has been sent, that email will be encrypted. And in that particular email, every other thing that is been there, it will be in unreadable format. If at all, if I know that particular key, then only I will be able to decrypt that particular email. And also with reference to your WhatsApp, it is end-to-end encrypted. It means when a sender is sending an information, the receiver will receive the information. Only this receiver and sender can read that particular information. No other people can read that particular information. Why? Because it is end-to-end encrypted. So this all comes with reference to this terms called as cryptography. Now moving forward, what are the cryptography techniques? What are the different techniques with reference to the cryptography? Now what it says, cryptography is closely related to the disciplines of cryptology or cryptanalysis. It includes techniques such as microdots, merging words with images, and other ways to hide information in storage or transit. Now what actually this means? This means, like as I have told you, a pattern in which a dummy word is inserted. This can be one form. The other form can be, I will be sending a message in a picture. What I'll do, I'll take an image and I'll embed some code into that particular image. I'll embed a code in that particular image and I'll send it to the user. Physically it looks like an image, but it has some internal data associated with the image. What is that internal data? It can be anything. So the process of hiding an information in a photograph or in an image is called as steganography. This is a prominent process of encryption and decryption that has been majorly done to transmit message over an image. So this is how one of the different technique with reference to the information passing is been done. The second one is, in computer-centric world, cryptography is most often associated with scrambling plain text. It means ordinary text, sometimes referred as clear text, into a ciphertext. Now what is ciphertext is? A process called encryption is been done over to that text. There was a plain text, there was some encryption done to it. Now it has become a ciphertext. Then back again known as decryption. When it is been converted from ciphertext back to the plain text, then that process is called as decryption. Encryption means plain text to ciphertext, and decryption means from ciphertext to the plain text. This is what we call as the process of encryption and the process of decryption. Now what it says further, individuals who practice these fields are known as cryptographers. In the sense, the people who encrypt that particular message or encode that particular message or make that text into unreadable format, those people are called as cryptographers. Those people are called as cryptographers. Now what further it says, modern cryptography concern itself with the following four objectives. Now this is very important. This is very important with reference to cryptography. In short, you should remember in this way CIAN or CIA. If at all, if you remember, then these are the three or four major characteristics or the objective that is been included with reference to cyber security as well as with reference to cryptography. What is the first one? The first one is the confidentiality. This is very important. Now what do you mean by this confidentiality? Confidentiality is the information cannot be understood by anyone for whom it was unintended. In the sense, for an example, I'll tell you, if at all if you go to a museum, in that there will be some of the paintings, but you cannot understand what that painting is all about, but only to those people who understands that particular painting things, or the people who are involved in painting and don't know how to use strokes, how to use different things, the image hidden in that particular painting is not being understood by a common man or common person, but only to those person who can understand the art of painting. For them only, it is been understood. That process is called as confidentiality. This process is called as confidentiality. Also, I'll give you some another example, a better example to make you understand. In a bank, in an ICICI bank, four of the students are having an account. Student 1 cannot see the account details of student 2, 3 and 4. Student 2 cannot see the details of student 1, 3 and 4. Why? Because there is a concept of confidentiality which makes one user differ from other, and the privileges which are not been associated to that particular person will not be allowed to see for that particular thing. Also, a bank member cannot see what is the bank balance or what is the amount of money present in that particular bank. If at all if I am having an account in ICICI bank, I cannot see how much of money is there in ICICI bank, but it will show only those privileges which are being given to me. For instance, I can check my own balance. So this concept is called as confidentiality, making those things hidden for others who doesn't have the proper access to access that particular information. Second property is the integrity. What is integrity? The information cannot be altered in storage or transit between sender and intended receiver without the alteration being detected. For an instance, I deposited 5 lakh rupees in my account. There was already 10 lakh rupees in my account. The moment I deposited 5 lakh rupees, what should be the balance? The balance should be 15. But what is the balance that is been showing? It is showing 5. Instead of adding the amount, it has deleted the amount from my account. This should not be unattended. This should not be unattended and this should not be undetected. Because when I'm adding the money, the money should increase, it should not decrease. That is what we call as the integrity. We'll go for the authentication first, then we'll go for the non-repudiation. Okay. Now what do you mean by authentication? Authentication means the sender and receiver can confirm each other's identity and their origin or destination of the information. For an instance, if at all if I want to speak to you, first I should know your basic ability, then only I will be able to speak with reference to it. Then only I will be able to speak to yourself. So this is how the authentication is been done. And also, when you insert the card and when you insert the password, then only you will be allowed as an authorized user. then only you will be allowed inside the ATM with an authorized user. Or else, if at all if you enter a wrong pin, though you are having a card, but you are not an authentic person to access that card. Why? Because you don't have the pin of that ATM card. So this is what you call as authentication. This is all about the authentication. Now moving forward, non-repudiation. Now what do you mean by this? The creator or the sender of the information cannot deny at a later stage his or her intention in the creation or transmission of the information. What do you mean by this? For instance, you requested a bank statement to the manager. The manager should give the exact transaction that is being associated to your account. If at all he or she is missing one of the transaction, then will the balance sheet tally? No, the balance sheet will not tally, and the transaction that is being shown to you, you will not be satisfied. Why? Because at one stage, the transaction that is in missing, that transaction you withdraw 5,000 rupees from your account, or you added 5,000 rupees into your account, but it is not showing. So that this particular situation is called as non-repudiation or non-repudiation. So these are the major modern cryptographic concern with reference to the crypto, or with reference to cryptology. Now what do you mean by this cryptographic algorithms? Now what are cryptographic algorithms? Crypto system uses a set of procedure known as cryptographic algorithms or ciphers to encrypt and decrypt messages to have a secure communication among computer systems devices such as smartphones and applications. So how this has been done? This has been done with reference to using different algorithms of encryption. There are n number of algorithms available in the market which can encrypt your plain text into your ciphertext, and that ciphertext can be sent to the user so that that user can use that ciphertext and convert into the plain text. Now what it further says, a cipher suit uses one algorithm for encryption, another algorithm for message authentication, and another for key exchange. So this is what we call as a cryptographic algorithms. How many algorithms are used? Three. For like a cipher suit uses one algorithm for encryption, another algorithm for message authentication, and another algorithm for key exchange. So this is with reference to the cryptographic algorithm. I hope you understood something with reference to cryptography and cryptology. If at all if you have any doubt with reference to today's session, you can ping me on my email address rahmat_ali2@yahoo.com, or you can come down to the college for a personal doubt clarification session. I hope you understood something from today's session. See you in the next class. Until then, take care. Bye bye, and see you in the next session. Thank you for joining.